Hey everyone, so I'm making a quick video. I thought about this question that came into my mind that families, as they are about to enroll their children into school, may be wondering, especially if your child is autistic or on the spectrum. My son is in public schools, has been since he started, and currently I know that there are families that are interested in enrolling their children into private schools. And if you are, that's great. You really have to weigh the pros and cons based on your family dynamic. Are you all able to afford a private school? If you are, then that might be the right move for you, especially if I would say you're feeling that public school is not working out for your child. If maybe there are some deficiencies there that you're just not looking forward to continuing on with, so you want to go further into a private school setting. Some schools are very expensive, more than others, and some of them have certain requirements that others don't. Such as, I know when I was looking into getting my son enrolled in a private school, the first thing I did was I started to go through the reviews of family members that had their children in private schools or had them at some point in a private school setting to kind of figure out what that school is about. And then you can also look them up online. So I would start there, look online to see what school you think would be beneficial for your child and your family dynamic. Get a tour, schedule a tour. I know I had made several calls to several private schools, and not all in the same county. So if you didn't know, if your child has certain requirements met, they are not what I would call required to go to a school within the county. If the private school is outside of the county, then in certain circumstances they can be allowed to go to a private school outside of their current jurisdiction. I know that because my son is in one county, and there's a county that I had reached out to, nearby county, and they had what he needed, I felt, and so I looked into them, and then they said, yeah, sure, there's nothing holding him back from being able to come to our school as a private school, which is good news, right? Because you're not confined to the restrictions of where you live in order for your child to receive a better education. Because truthfully, under FAPE, they are required to be able to have a free and appropriate education. So again, if you didn't know what FAPE meant, FAPE, it's free and appropriate education. Every child is entitled to that. Okay, so if the school where your child is enrolled is failing them, is not able to accommodate their needs, again based on the IEP, then you have every right as your child's caregiver, parent, to look into taking your child out of public school. There is a wall that you will have to climb. When you're enrolling your child or trying to enroll them into a private school, you have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that that public school is not able to suffice the needs of your child. Again, that was a video that I had recently done where I shared with you guys that at times families have had to get an attorney because the school would not take accountability. And I'm not pointing out any particular school, it's just these are things that happen, right? So if the school is unable to supply the needs based on the IEP requirement, sorry for the light, I'm going through it, y'all. I'm going through like this little area, this little small town. But if the school is unable or unwilling to supply the needs that that child is required to have under FAPE and under IDEA, then legally you have the right as the parent to petition to take your child's school to court, or I should say to the Board of Education, and to try to get them out of that school. It will sometimes require that if you can't afford an attorney, I would strongly suggest, like I said, going up the chain of command. Start off low, contact an advocate. There are advocates all throughout the area. You can go through resources that I provided the other day, such as on understood.org. Then there was the Parents Place of Maryland. Again, I'm going according to my state. You can get on websites for the Autism Society. There is also ARC. These are resources that can provide you with other resources to help you get an advocate. Some of them you do have to pay for. Again, there are some that are free, but there are some, because of what they do and how involved they get one-on-one time with you and your family. If you hear that, that's my dog. I'm sorry. He gets so annoyed when I don't pay him attention. He's literally right here, like laying on the console. But anyway, some advocates do charge a fee. Do I think the fees are going to be higher than a lawyer or an attorney? Likely not, but I can't say for sure. It really does depend on the uniqueness of the child's situation. But you can definitely seek out their expertise. Some of them might charge a small fee for a consultation. Some of them might be open and free to talking to you on the phone for a few minutes to give you an idea of where to start. But don't think that you cannot get your child out of public school if that school is failing your child. On the flip side of that, that's not to say that all private schools are beneficial to children who are on the spectrum or autistic. Like I said, every child is unique. Every person is unique. We all have different fingerprints. There's a reason why God created us the way he did. So we all have unique needs. In some cases, I have seen in social media groups that I'm a part of, and also being a part of some of the committees regarding autism in the state of Maryland that I've seen in chats, say that there were particular private schools, and again, I can only speak on the locations in Maryland because that's where I live, that were not comparable in the best way to public schools, and that they felt the private schools were not helping, were unable to provide those resources. So again, it goes back to, it depends on the uniqueness of your situation with your child. If your child is in need of services that are not being able to be provided, which they should legally according to ID and FAPE, then you can take your child to a clinic outside of their school to get them ABA, to get them OT, to get them speech. Now I say this because I understand from the perspective and truth of those autistic adults and children, the families, that ABA is not always considered helpful. There are a lot of people in the autistic community, those that are autistic themselves, who do not support the ABA. They do not. You can look that up online. There are some who feel that the ABA community, which is the behavioral clinics, the behavioral therapists, they just feel that they are trying to change the behavior of an autistic person, that they're not able to be uniquely who they are, that there is a desire to make them equal to others who are neurotypical, and that's not what they want. So that's why I said to each his own. There are some families who do support ABA therapy. If you are that, then great for you. I don't say yay or nay to either. Whatever works for you works for your family. I'm all about giving you guys the resources and support you need to get the ball rolling. So again, if you feel the need to look into going into a private school setting, first I would say do your work. Reach out to an advocate. Contact someone in your community through those resources of the links that I provide and will provide again here in this video, to find out where do you start. Again, if you haven't already had your child evaluated to see if they have a different capability, whether it be autistic or ADHD, whatever it is, I completely support you in doing that and urge you to do it, because it really will benefit them along the way. We don't gain anything by what I want to say is, like hiding, not really hiding our children, but trying to prevent them from being out here in the real world. We don't gain anything from that. If anything, the children suffer from it, because if they're not diagnosed, let's say your child does have autism. Let's say that your child is, autistic or has you know, a requirement or a different capability, but you don't get them evaluated, right? So they're 12 years old, 14, they're about to graduate from high school, and it was a rough road, but maybe they made it through, right? But at some point, depending on that child's needs in life, are they going to be able to secure a job? So you really do have to think about their independence. That is what's key. It can't be about, I don't want my child to be exposed as being different, because different means that they'll be treated different. No, there is a law that will have them supported. There is a reason to get them out there and get them tested to see whether or not they are requiring additional assistance. Just to be transparent with you, you probably didn't know this, but I am not autistic, sorry you guys, but I actually have a special requirement. Like, I have something that keeps me from being able to learn like everybody else. So I've gone through, not the IEP process because I'm not autistic, but I have what people call dyscalculia, and a lot of people didn't know what that was at first, but it's a different way of communicating with math. It's that I can't always gain perspectives on how to figure out equations, so it takes more time for me. I have to really dig deep, study, restudy, and study again. I need tutors. I'm currently in a math course right now, and I am so excited to share that I am getting all A's on every homework assignment that I've gotten so far, and I'm on unit 5. I have 2 more units to go before I'm done. I've gotten all A's, and it's because I've been doing my homework, I've been studying, I've been doing everything I can to learn and soak in. I even got a tutor who is in California, a professor. I had a professor that I reached out to. I connected to her through a site called Lesson Pal, and she was working with me on how to soak in all of this information. So it's not to say that when you come out and say, I need more help, that you're less than anybody else. That's not what that means. What it means is that you require assistance, and guess what? Legally, you are supported by the Americans with Disabilities Act and by so many different state legislative laws that cover those who are in a place of having a disability. A disability does not mean that it's not a capability. It means that it's a different way of learning, a different way of thinking, and a different way of seeing the world. So just remember that, you guys. I have to hop out of this car really quick. So in another video, I will go over some other tools and tips that I've learned along the way as a mom when it comes to trying to help my child get the best of the world, and some of the downsides. Do you want to say hi to everybody really quick since you're on the video? Because you sat up. Do you want to say hi? Say hi, Noah. Okay. But so that's, and we'll do a video on Noah too, right? Do you guys have a doodle in your home? Do you guys have an Australian Cobber dog or any kind of golden doodle or any doodle? Let's talk about it, because truthfully, these are some of the most comedic dogs I've ever met in my life. Like, he is straight up like a human being. I can't go anywhere without someone pulling me over or waving out and saying, oh, I love your dog. You guys have a great rest of your day. Don't forget that acknowledging that your child has a different capability does not mean that they can't learn. It just means that they need more resources to protect and keep them on the right track. Guys, have a great day.